This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening, everyone. A Cygnet man has drowned while surfing at Blackmans Bay Beach, south of Hobart, this morning. A member of the public and a police officer rushed into the water in an attempt to save him, but the 37-year-old man couldn't be revived. Michelle WISBEY has this report.
Tragedy struck here at Blackmans Bay Beach this morning. A male's drowning in these waters. About 8:15 a.m, emergency services received a number of 000 calls from concerned members of the public at the beach. They reported seeing a man in danger about 100 metres offshore. According to Ambulance Tasmania, a kayaker and police officer rushed into the water, trying to swim to the man's rescue.
The kayaker unfortunately suffered an injury whilst he was in the water and attempting to place the man onto the surfboard. That led to a dislocated shoulder.
They found him unconscious, but together were able to bring him back to the beach. Despite efforts to resuscitate the man, he could not be revived and died at the scene. The kayaker and police officer were both sent to the Royal Hobart Hospital, suffering from exhaustion and hypothermia.
The men acted incredibly bravely, and we will certainly be looking at making sure that we recognise their actions moving forward.
Tasmania Police say investigations are continuing and a report is set to be prepared for the coroner.
A 55-year-old man from East Devonport has died after crashing his motorbike on Sheffield Road in Lower Barrington today. Emergency crews, forensic officers and investigators attended the scene of the single vehicle crash around midday. Initial investigations suggest the motorcycle lost control while negotiating a right-hand bend. Investigations are continuing regarding the cause of the crash and a report is being prepared for the coroner. Anyone who witnessed the incident is being asked to contact police. State Labor is mounting pressure on the Health Minister, launching a petition to have Michael Ferguson removed from the role. The government says it's getting on with the job, while the opposition is focused on stunts.
Labor's health spokesperson joining two people with their own accounts of the health system. Brent Gray says he spent 8 days in the emergency department waiting for a bed in the psychiatric wards.
You've got people screaming, you've got police in there, you've got poor children and their families are coming in, and because there's nowhere else to go, that's where we have to go.
Katie has raised concerns about the treatment of a family member and the availability of beds.
The staff are lovely, they are doing everything they can to their capacity. But it's happening every day. Every day. It is the system.
Labor says their health minister is ultimately responsible.
Today we are launching a petition which we will be circulating through the community for Tasmanians to join with us and call on the Premier to stand Michael Ferguson aside and appoint somebody who does care.
Oh, this clearly shows that Labor have got no policies at all. All they are doing is playing politics rather than coming up with solutions.
In a statement, Michael Ferguson says Labor is using the health system as a political football and his government is repairing damage done during Labor's term. His cabinet colleague expressing faith in him.
Oh, the health portfolio is always a challenging portfolio, but Michael Ferguson is doing a great job in this challenging portfolio. We have seen 120 new beds open, 600 more frontline staff in our health system.
But with a portfolio known as a poison chalice, the health minister continues to face political pressure. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
If you or anyone you know needs help, call Lifeline on 13 11 14. Health authorities have confirmed the latest case of meningococcal disease is the W strain. A 64-year-old man from Hobart's Eastern Shore remains in hospital in a stable condition after his diagnosis was confirmed yesterday. He's the 5th case of the W strain since July. Public Health says it's not believed to be linked to an outbreak of meningococcal in Hobart's northern suburbs.
We have determined that this case does not relate to the outbreak that has recently occurred in the northern suburbs of Hobart and is a single isolated case. It doesn't indicate that there's an outbreak of the disease on the Eastern Shore.
More public vaccination clinics are being planned across the state. More than 20,000 music fans squeezed into St Helens last night, breaking a national record for the One Night Stand Festival. The event's been considered an economic lightning bolt for the region, while the local mayor tips it will bring in more tourism.
For one big night, St Helens rocked. Tasmanians and tourists were drawn to a music mecca, the free all-ages concert called One Night Stand, which brings some of the country's most popular acts to a regional town each year. Last night was the first time it's come to Tasmania, and it smashed the all-time attendance record, drawing a crowd more than 10 times the town's population.
The opportunity is once in a lifetime, and to break every record that's ever been set in a small little country town like St Helens is absolutely astronomical.
Local Mayor Mick Tucker says the tourism benefit is enormous, now the East Coast has shone in the national spotlight.
The economic benefit's going to flow on for an awful long time now. That's the benefit. Being on the national stage.
While it was a much-needed shot in the arm for local businesses, which usually struggle this time of year, the Bayside Inn served well over 400 meals during the day.
I didn't expect it to be as big as it was, and I don't think the town did. We were thinking 15,000. Hopefully we will get some more trade out of this.
It wasn't all good news. Police caught 2 drink drivers this morning, and a man was charged with drug trafficking last night. But police say the vast majority was well behaved. On the town's football ground today, the stage was dismantled, although there was still time for one last performance. Ending the mega party on a high note. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Fathers across Tasmania have been celebrated and thanked today, families sharing the love this Father's Day. One Tasmanian dad was given the ultimate gift, a new baby boy.
A kiss on the head for his newborn son. Brad Jones could not have wished for a better Father's Day gift.
Happy Father's Day to me.
Uriah Dominic Scott Jones is a happy and healthy little boy. The perfect present arriving just in time for an already special day. And Mum and Dad could not be more in love.
It was pretty scary to start with, but I think once Bob came along, all that just went out the window, and you don't really...
Excited to parenthood.
The new family were preparing to leave the Royal Hobart Hospital today and could not wait to get home and start life as new parents.
There's no words. There's nothing like a love. You know, you think you're in love and then you hold your baby and that's love.
I'm not just carrying myself, I'm carrying 2 now, which is beautiful.
The new addition making Father's Day that little bit more special each year. Michelle WISBEY, Southern Cross News.
Politicians' expenses have been revealed, showing a large amount of claims for printing. Between April and June, Independent MP Andrew Wilkie claimed more than $90,000 on printing and communications. Labor's Ross Hart and Julie Collins claimed $46,000 and $35,000 respectively. Tasmania's 17 federal politicians claimed more than $150,000 for domestic flights, mostly to and from Canberra. After a wetter than average winter, Tasmanians can expect warm and dry weather this spring. The Bureau of Meteorology has released its spring outlook, which is predicting the next 3 months will be drier than average for most of Tasmania.
Looking warmer than average, so that warm winter is looking like it will continue through into spring.
Similar conditions are expected across Australia. Unwelcome news for our drought-stricken farmers.
Lauderdale has knocked Launceston out of the TSL finals for the 2nd year in a row. Ed Stanley starred for the Southern Bombers with 7 goals in his side's 72-point belting of the Blues. Lauderdale takes on Glenorchy next week for a spot in the grand final.
In such a high-stakes game, Launceston was looking for every edge, even from the opposition coach.
Can we organise if there's people in our huddle, tell them to
Whatever clues Darren Winter gave away clearly didn't help the Blues. More telling was Ed Stanley's 7 exceptional goals, and he loved every one of them. But still, Lauderdale shared the load. Henry Keranoia fired 4 majors, including 3 in the final term, while the trusted boot of 4 Boscott also made a mark on the scoreboard. For Launceston, the frustration was clear. Ryan Tyrrell tried to light a fuse, but an absence of anything up forward extinguished the fight back. Lauderdale was too tough, too hungry, and all too eager to make an unlikely challenge for the title. The 12-goal thrashing was a sad end to a season with so much promise for Launceston, beaten in September once again by the Southern Bombers, who will play Glenorchy in next week's prelim, the winner to face North Launceston in the decider.
There's better news for Launceston in the TSL Women's League, with the side recording a 107-point win over the Tigers. Although the Tigers kicked the first goal of the match, they didn't score another for the entire game. The Blues ran rampant on their home deck, slotting 17 majors for the afternoon. Emma Mannix-Jeeves was unstoppable, kicking 5 for the side, while Abby Green also starred up forward. She booted 4. Meanwhile, Clarence is through to the grand final after beating Glenorchy by 19 points at KG5. The Roos were wasteful in front of goal, kicking 3 goals 12 to the Pies 1 goal 5. Glenorchy will play Launceston in next week's prelim for the other spot in the grand final. Alex Peroni remains in the top 10 of the Formula Renault Euro Cup, despite a disappointing day out in Hungary. After starting 11th on the grid, the Tasmanian slipped to 13th after being overtaken on the opening lap. Peroni is back in the driver's seat for race 2 tonight.
Welcome back. It was a mostly fine day today, apart from some showers in the west, south and southeast. Launceston and Burnie shared the state's high of 14 degrees. It reached 13 in Hobart and 12 in Devonport. Maximum temperatures were a couple of degrees below average today. 13 was the top at Smithton, Lowhead, St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Ouse. It was 12 on the islands and 7 at Lyowini. To the skies, low clouds sat over much of the state, although it remained mostly clear about the North Sea. On the bigger picture, open-celled cloud moved over the southern end of the mainland, with most of the country cloud-free under a ridge of high pressure. Tomorrow that high stays in place with several surface troughs about as well. Westerly winds 10 to 20 knots about the south, variable elsewhere. Swells to 4 metres in southern waters, decaying to 3 later in the day. Taking a closer look at tomorrow now, Hobart partly cloudy, 13 the top, showers for Dover 12, Ouse cloudy and 13. Partly cloudy in the north, Launceston 14, Devonport and Scottsdale both 13. Burnie and Stanley both partly cloudy with a top of 13, a morning shower for Strawn 12 degrees. St Helens partly cloudy 13, Swansea 13 becoming cloudy, frost and cloud for Ross. Later on in the week, Tuesday, we can expect showers about the north, but a fine day for the rest of the state. Wednesday, fine apart from showers about north and central districts. And Thursday, rain about the north and west, with showers extending to the remainder of the state through the day. Further north tomorrow, a partly cloudy day for Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne. Sunny weather for Darwin, but showers for Sydney and Brisbane. It's 8 degrees in Hobart and Launceston and 9 in Devonport right now. That's all the weather. Back to you, Rach.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Britt. That's all your news for now. Have a great evening. Good night.